Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing some mistakes that I made when using Tretinoin. I'm still using it and I've been using it now for 3 months. So I'm kind of at the period where I can see a change in my skin, a visible difference. But whilst I have been using it, I have made some mistakes. So first let me start by saying that I am somebody that generally follows the rules in terms of medicine, because Tretinoin is a medicine and I do have my head screwed on and I don't do anything stupid, but in these moments I did. So I'm using Tretinoin that I'm using, and it is at a 0.05%, so it's the mid-tier, not the lowest and not the strongest Retin-a or Tretinoin. The first mistake that I made was sort of overloading my skin. Even though I thought, okay, my skin's been through a lot, it's built itself up from retinols, it can now handle this Tretinoin. No, your skin, you should, if I could go back, I would ease into it still. I would have at least done every other day, or I would have, if I was doing every day, I would buffer it every day, because even now I pretty much buffer my Tretinoin every day. So buffering is just essentially putting on your moisturiser or moisturising whatever first, serums, a face mask that's moisturising, and then letting that sink in over time and then putting your Retin-a on. Whereas before I was literally just doing it on dry skin and I was just unbelievably dry. So that plus winter is a disaster. So if you're going to start Tretinoin in the winter, be prepared for that, and I would totally recommend that you buffer your skin and ease into it, because my skin was dry as hell, and there is evidence, of course, and if you want to avoid that and not make the same mistake I did, then I would ease into it. Number 2. So the second mistake that I made is actually quite intense. So like I said, I know that when you're using Tretinoin, it is a medicine and you need to be careful with it. I made a rookie mistake, and there's kind of a story behind it, so let me tell you. Basically, I was going out and I was going to watch someone from Drag Race, and I was doing my makeup and I wanted to look glam, I wanted to do a full beat, I was putting on the high coverage foundation, all that kind of stuff, because I just wanted, it was an evening thing, I wanted it nice. When I was doing my foundation, I found that my chin was just really clinging. So basically when you're using Tretinoin, your skin is obviously going to dry out, and when you wear makeup, your skin isn't going to look perfect, and what happens is your makeup tends to cling to your dry skin. It does that naturally anyway, especially powders or liquid foundations. But in that moment, I just wasn't having it. I was not happy. So what did your girl do? So I wiped off the makeup on my chin and I said, no, I'm going to go and exfoliate, get that dead skin off that was causing the clinginess, and then I'm going to reapply my makeup. So I did that, but I made a mistake that you can learn from. I over exfoliated, and I exfoliated too harshly. Now I would never normally do this. Throughout using Retin-a, I've been very consistent. I have been exfoliating gently, with my fingers or a flannel, and occasionally a spin brush, but even then very gently, because spin brushes, you don't need to add any pressure, it's already getting those skin cells buffered away for you. I went in with my number 7 spin brush and that would have been enough. Nope, she went like that, and instead of just letting it hover nicely, I went like this. I was pushing against it. Having flashbacks. Yeah. I was left really, really red and raw. In that moment, I thought that the redness would subside, and I just popped what did I do? I popped some moisturiser on it and I put my foundation on. I went out, had a great night, and I didn't think anything of it. So here's what my skin was like. It was red. It was red raw, it was sore, and in my head I thought that it would have subsided overnight at least, but in fact it just got worse. It was a lot more red and it was very tender to the touch, and I'm not gonna lie, it was like that for a good 5 days. 5 days my skin was red and sore because I over exfoliated with my spin brush. How silly is that? Self-inflicted as well, completely self-inflicted. I did that to myself and I had to deal with it. So luckily, this was at a time where I wasn't working. I was in between jobs and I could just stay at home, and I literally just had to slather my chin in ointments and things to help soothe redness, sort of the same stuff that you use for nappy rashes, and that helped, but it had to heal on its own. So the mistake that I made followed on and caused more issues for me. If there's one thing you need to learn from this video, I say need, you might not even need to, you might already know, but just always remind yourself to not over exfoliate, because you're damaging your skin. And even in a moment of desperation, your makeup's not sitting right, you don't feel cute, suck it up, because I wish I did. But what I'm saying is be gentle, be kind to your skin. I then had more issues with it, again self-inflicted, because I had scrubbed away the barrier of skin that is there. So basically when you're using tretinoin, your top barrier of skin is the one that is just being shedded. Cell turnover is getting rid of that over and over and over very quickly. So your skin in a sense is thinner and it's not protected by this barrier that's usually there and usually strong and united, you know. It's weakened down and it's easier for anything to damage your skin basically. So because I had scrubbed anything that was there protecting my skin, essentially my chin got infected. Not with some weird pussy thing, I just got infected by spots, bacteria that caused acne, because my pores were there, they were red raw, open to the world, come in anything that you want, and there wasn't much helping me from getting rid of those things. Obviously I continued to cleanse my face and was very gentle on that area. I stayed away from the tretinoin while I was healing my chin. I wasn't putting anything harsh on it because I'd already done so much damage. I just wanted to soothe it. I was gently cleansing and moisturising. So from that I had damaged my skin and I got an outbreak that was very pussy and very white, and again I had nobody to blame but myself. So I dealt with that breakout by just letting it be, and then eventually the whiteheads had calmed down a bit and I did use my extractor. I just went in there, gently dragged it out, and after that my chin went back to normal. Completely. It was completely back to normal within a week. But that time was traumatic. So don't over exfoliate the skin, and remind yourself why, because you can lead it open to bacteria. And if you are using tretinoin for acne, that's exactly the thing you want to avoid. So just, you know, use this video as a reminder. If you're using it for anti-aging, you still don't want to break out, do you? So I don't even know if I've been numbering these mistakes, but the next mistake that I made, well, what mistake did I make next? I did wax my face. I didn't think that that was a bad thing. This is one that I was actually kind of oblivious to. I didn't know that you should avoid waxing when you're using tretinoin. Like I said, that barrier of skin is not there, and generally when you wax your skin anyway, your normal skin, waxing sort of takes away a thin layer, the top layer, not the whole of it, but a bit of the dead skin on your face anyway. So bearing that in mind, like we said, when you're using tretinoin, that top layer is kind of not there. And I waxed my upper lips and my eyebrows. The area that was mainly affected was my upper lip, and it was red raw again because I'd waxed and it hadn't got anything to sort of grab other than my skin and pulling off what was already there, so I was left red raw. Don't wax, or be very gentle with hair removal when you're using tretinoin. I don't really know what the right thing is to do. I genuinely thought I'd pulled it the wrong way, or I hadn't pulled it taut enough that can cause the same result, but then I realised I actually had to Google it, Retin-a and waxing, and then the first thing that came up was literally like
be careful, caution, waxing Retin-a, waxing Tretinoin, danger.
So be careful. My eyebrows were okay. I had a little bit of a red patch here, but that was alright. It was the upper lip that was very tender, and obviously when you eat and you talk, and I think that irritated it more. So guys, they are my primary mistakes that I made when using Tretinoin. Like I said, I'm on the mid tier, so I don't even know if these would be worse if I was on the 0.01%. I don't know, but I just thought I'd share them with you. And also at the end of the video now, please subscribe if you would like to know more about Tretinoin, because I'm going to continue my journey with it. I'm 3 months in. I will do an update on that because a lot has changed, like I said. And last but not least, let me just tell you how I've kind of rectified these things. I obviously don't go in with my spin brush the way that I did. I learnt my lesson the hard way, because sometimes when people say it, it's not enough. You have to do it yourself and be like, oh, I messed up. I am very careful when doing hair removal. I've generally just sort of been shaving my mustache with one of those razors that everyone uses on YouTube. I do wax and tweeze my eyebrows, but again, I'm just very cautious of how I do it, and bit by bit. And I have started to buffer my Retin-a by the evenings. I put a nice moisturising sheet mask, let that sink in, and then obviously you have to wait like an hour or so before you apply your Tretinoin Retin-a anyway. So yeah, and I've just been taking it slower, not beating myself up if my skin isn't looking great in makeup. So if you're using Tretinoin or you're thinking about using it, please bear these things in mind. Obviously, you're probably thinking this girl's just stupid. I'm a fairly smart girl. I'm bright, but I made some mistakes, and maybe you can make them too. It's kind of the same as being, you know, in those dating situations where someone's like, oh no, he's a waste of space, don't bother with him, but then you really like him and you're like, oh, I like him, I don't see what you see, and then he breaks your heart, and then you realise, oh yeah, okay, you were right. And you had to learn the hard way. Sometimes you learn the hard way, and I'm learning the hard way. Take this as entertainment or take this as a lesson. Totally up to you. But thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed my video, please be sure to subscribe down below. I have loads of skincare videos and loads more to come, because this is a acne Tretinoin journey. And yeah, bye.